Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 17th, 2022 at approximately 1:14 p.m. PST. Well, it is an odd day as in the 17th. And because of that, I figured the way I'm looking at this is odd days, I'm going to do my best to stay focused on the heart of the home. Okay, on getting your home running smoothly. On even days, I'll go back to working on the brain of the house, which is getting your finances working, showing you how to get that sort of thing in track, introducing you to different techniques that I personally use to bring my life into order. Now, the thing is, I returned to this world, to this life, for one primary purpose, and that is to remind everybody that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. So with this in mind, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Absolutely subscribe to my channel, as there's a lot of information going to be coming out. There's a lot of information that's already come out. I've been doing this almost daily since March 6th of 2021. Been a long journey getting here. Okay, but we are here, and as of just a couple of weeks, not this past weekend. Yeah, I guess it was just this past weekend. Last weekend or two. Okay, we started going live. Let's see, last Saturday, not today, and not yesterday, but last Saturday was the first Saturday, so that was one Saturday. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll give that to you the next time, or at least, as a matter of fact, I'm making a note for myself here for the starting date of the live stream. Now, the reality of it is, this whole idea of putting lists together is this: the easiest tool in the book, okay, that I've found, the most effective tool, if you have one of two problems, works for everybody, but the two most significant groups of people that it works for are people that are professional procrastinators. Okay, people in three groups. If you're a professional procrastinator, you put everything off. You're legitimately lost as to where to begin to change your own life. Or if you suffer from ADD or ADHD. In any of these events and many others, this technique works. Okay, I keep a list handy of things that I've got to get done. Now, right now, I've only got 3 things on the list, and I recommend very strongly that, as I do, you take every task, every goal you've got, break it down into 15-minute to half-hour jobs where possible. Okay, so each of these jobs won't take very long. The recording of this video is about a half hour. Posting it usually takes me about 15 minutes. And then starting the startup date for the live streams is going to take me just a couple of minutes because I know where that is. But these are the next 3 tasks on my list in order to get things running smoothly. Now, briefly speaking, the heart of your home is a 3-chamber heart. Those 3 chambers are your kitchen, your dining room, and your bedroom. My apologies, I screwed that up royally. This is, by the way, a live feed. Sorry, live recording. Okay, so all the glitches, you get them as is. I just double check the date at the end of the recording, and then post as is. So the 3 chambers of the heart, in actuality, are your kitchen, your dining room, and your living room. Okay, that's the heart. The communication line, your interactive communication line with the outside world, is your front doorway, or your front foyer, if you will, depending on what you're looking at. But the front door is a real critical factor. The arteries of your home are the hallways. That's the information transit ways between the front and back room, between the front door and the rest of the building. Okay, and the rest of your home. Now, then you have your disposal area. This will be your laundry room and or your bathroom. Okay, where the garbage gets tossed out. Okay, and that's what I'm referring to there is the garbage that doesn't fit in the kitchen catcher. Okay, I guess it'd be called the kitchen garbage can nowadays, but you get the idea. Your recovery center is your bedroom. Okay, and as with the office being the brain of the house, it is also the brain of the home. That is the junction where everything fits together. Now, with all this in mind, I was talking the other day, don't ask me which one, about some furniture I was getting rid of. Well, yesterday I pushed my limits way too far. Okay, I already had the arteries cleared out, but I had a chunk of furniture in my bedroom that I had to move, and an entertainment center up in the living room that had to go. So yesterday I got up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm sorry, I went to work. And I worked straight through from 3:30 in the morning. I went through, recorded the journey first thing like early in the morning, then did my live feed and carried on. Okay, went and dealt with a couple of things, stopped for lunch, came back and carried on cleaning and sorting out my house. Well, the entertainment center got moved out of the bedroom, or not the entertainment center, the one shelving unit got moved out of the bedroom. The entertainment center got torn apart and tossed out because it was damaged, to the point of it really wasn't worth secondhand recycling. Most stuff, if I don't have a use for it, I will find somebody that has a use for it. In this case, when I got looking at it, the bottom of it was already shot, and I figured scrap it. So I did. Well, long story short, I spent until, well, it was 17 hours, so it was, let's see, I got up at 3, so you're looking at 9. It was 8 o'clock at night when it finally dawned on me that I pushed my limits way too far. I've been paying for it today. Okay, but on the plus side, the energy in the office is running beautifully. The living room now no longer has the dark, damaged entertainment center in it. It's gone. The bedroom has a staggering amount of floor space in it, making the energy run smoothly back in my recovery center. Okay. All in all, it was a productive day. I'm just paying for it today. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because by doing so, like I mentioned to you when I started doing this aspect of it, by doing so, it is my hope that you will find some ability to focus. I had to learn this the hard way. It took me 56 years to piece together what was going sour. Okay, so now on top of that, and I don't think it's visible here, it is so. By George, I left it in place this time. This little book here is, where is it here? Yep. Okay, this little book here is the book that I do a lot of my handwriting. I'm still a dinosaur. So where it comes to writing, this is where I take the writing, because a lot of my writing comes from the heart. Most of the characters in this. Now this is the book that I'm using to keep track of this. The Yldrbacian Chronicles. Okay, the way that works, because we are talking about the heart of my business, of the writing, I take the little ideas and I put them in here. I write them by hand. I've got one other book around here someplace that, and I don't know offhand where, that was the book I was working in, but I filled it. So I take them, I write them by hand in this book. Then I come home to the computer, and transfer them into the type format, into the soft copy. And from there, they go to the printer. Okay. Net result, we go from the heart, which is here, okay, to the head, which is the computer system, the software, and to the outside world, which is the hard copy, which is the solid copy printing. Okay. This is just one of the tools that I use. Okay. Now, because of that, when you're looking at a project that comes from the heart, whether it's painting, whether it's writing, whether it's drawing, it doesn't matter. You get an image in your head of what you're striving to do. The more clear the image, the more readily it comes into play. I did the same thing, and I recommend you do the same thing with your home. Start with the living room, dining room, and kitchen. Okay. Now, in my case, here's what happened in the living room. I told you what happened with the entertainment center. Okay, so it's gone. The dining room table right now has a bunch of stuff that I've got to clear off it when I get done here. The kitchen got redone. Okay, and to the point that we moved the microwave out of the dining room where it was into the kitchen, shifted the toaster where it needed to be. So the kitchen itself is now set up the way we desire it to be. The dining room we're working on, and the living room, the backbone of it is sorted out. So I've got the heart working almost properly. Okay, including the fact that that piece of furniture that came out of my bedroom is now my TV stand, which puts the TV on top of it. That hand carved UFO of mine sits beside it, and all the electronics go in the shelves underneath it, with a lot of airflow because of the way the stand was designed. As a result, the energy in my home is now running reasonably smoothly. I've still got things to tidy up and clean out, but the arteries in my home were just about completely clogged. Some of the ways that this can manifest for you, if the energy in your home is clogged, if you've got too much clutter around, if you've got too many things that are not running smoothly, you'll start to feel tired, lethargic. You may end up feeling depressed. Okay, you're almost certain, if you've got any interest in socializing at all, you're almost certain to feel embarrassed by the state of your home. I know that was something that surprised me, was when I took a look and I've got to bring people in. It's like, oh, but I don't like the way it looks. You know, the kitchen's a mess and it's got to be dealt with. Well, here's one of the reasons why I moved the microwave into the kitchen itself. It takes up about half of the counter that I used to be able to store dishes on. Now, of course, not having, and I do wholeheartedly support this side of it, and not all women are this way, okay? But oftentimes there is one person that's really, really, really emphatic on keeping things neat and tidy, and one person in the family that isn't. In my case, I was a professional procrastinator, and since I don't have anybody living with me yet, it's up to me to make sure I find ways to motivate myself. Same as it's up to you. Okay, but by moving the mic into the kitchen, okay, it takes up a chunk of that counter. And I no longer have to worry about that chunk because I can't put stuff on it, which means when the sink has too many dishes in it, get them done. And yes, unless you're washing dishes every single moment, right, it is just normal. If you've only got one plate for breakfast, it's quite probable that you're not going to do it right away because you would go through so much wasted soap, not to mention wasted water, on one plate that, economically speaking, and from a nature standpoint, is extremely wasteful and damaging to the environment. Okay, I like having a home that looks, if you will, disorganized enough to be lived in, and clean enough to be welcoming. This is what I'm working on. Now, being a professional procrastinator to start with, I got very good at postponing all of it. But the nice part about it is, see, if you think of it this way, if you think of the physical world as a reflection of the way your mind is, okay, and take a look and do your own research. The way I learned it was the state of your primary living space and or primary working space is a reflection of the state of your mind. Now, if this is the case, it stands to reason in my eyes that the state of your home is also will also be a reflection of the state of your mind. The state of your home, the state of your house. In other words, your primary living and or primary workspace will cause the state they are in will cause your mind to go into that same state. Okay, but frankly, it's easier to clean out the physical side than it is to change the way you're thinking. And again, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. But if the method you're using right now is not leaving you feeling energetic, energized, more motivated, you may have a problem. Okay. Now, for me, it's working like an absolute charm. Okay, because I've got things organized now that I'm quite content with the way they are. Okay, so take it one step at a time. I do that. See, I'm in the process of getting my eyes working, but the glasses, right, enable me to actually see the time on the clock without leaning up and giving you a real close-up look at my forehead. Which, I don't know about you, but I'm not overly impressed with. I get a kick out of it when I look at my body. I mean, and trust me, I don't look at my body much. But a year ago, I ended up at the doctor, and they told me flat out my blood pressure was too high, my weight was up too high. I looked at the weight and went, this is not going any worse. I hit 246, which may not seem much to you. Okay, but I got to 246 and went, that's where it's stopping. But I got that heart drive, that imperative in my heart that said the weight's got to come down. Now, by doing that, I started feeling better, and I started looking at the rest of it. I've always held that personally, I've got no problem with the way people look, regardless of who they are, how they look, what they dress like, what what weight they are, what color they are. It's never mattered. But I did reach a point where I was looking at it going, I would like a partner in my life. Okay, but the neat little part about it was I'm looking in the mirror going, I'm not happy with my weight. Now, by then I already had a partner. Of course, the fact of the matter is she happens to be blind, so I don't have to worry about whether or not she sees what I look like, considering she's not in the same city as me right now. But I got thinking, I don't like the appearance from a personal standpoint in a relationship base. I don't like the appearance of overweight. Okay, I've got nothing personal against it. Where it comes to friends or business, I don't care. Okay, but where it comes to my partner in life, the one I desire to wake up with, yeah, weight matters to me. Okay, now you can call that shallow if you want and be my guest. Okay, but it stood to reason from my end. If I'm not content with it, then the weight that I was had to come off. Now, I didn't think to check my weight this morning, so I'll do it sometime this week. The latest, I'll do it next Sunday. But the last I checked, which was a couple of weeks ago, I was down to 206. I'm down 40 pounds, and I'm quite content with for the most part, the way I look. I'm still lacking in certain areas, but so what? But the color of my hair, I don't worry about it at all, for one primary reason. I started going gray when I was 16. That was when I found my first gray hair. Or somebody else did, in all fairness. But then I was a late bloomer. My dad started when he was 14. Okay, but I'm happy with the way things are starting to look. I'm getting coordination with my left arm after the stroke is coming back. Now, I've said multiple times that making this world making this world a better place is going to require everybody's effort. Okay, and the reason I'm walking you through what changes I'm making is because maybe, just maybe, it'll give you a focal point on how to get your life moving in the right direction. Okay, but it boils down to essentially writing your own life story. Okay, my life starts out as a shambles. It started out as a shambles. Yours may well be starting as a shambles in your eyes. Okay, but that's when you get the idea in your head, and it's got to come from here. Okay, you've got to get that heartfelt imperative. But when you take a look at it, I've taken a look at my life. I looked at my life a couple years ago and went, I'm not content. Well, it's taken me a few years to figure out the path. Okay. And I guess it was yesterday. I cleared off my credit card once again. Okay. I'm not saying credit cards are bad, and I will get into those again tomorrow. But I've got the working in my brain, that picture of this is what I consider healthy, now running properly. Okay, I'm getting rid of the clutter out of the different rooms, and I'll tell you, I took a dark entertainment center. Bear in mind, my walls, well, you can see what color my walls are. This is the same all throughout my house. Okay, but from my standpoint, I had that, but I had so much dark stuff in it, really dulled out the energy levels. Okay, and yes, I am still planning on getting everything replaced with oak. Pretty much everything. But I'm getting light oak. And it's for that reason. Okay, I do have some dark. Like, for instance, if you look at the hand-carved UFO I've got, the UFO itself is light. It's a light color. And I don't know what wood it is, but next time I talk to the guy that built it, to my carpenter's friend, I'll ask him what type of wood it is. But its base is really dark. And I noticed when I looked at it, especially when I set the thing on this new TV stand of mine, I noticed that the combination of primarily light color stuff and the accents in the dark, in my eyes, this worked beautifully. This is the way this works. I'm replacing the furniture. That's just the way it is. But I'm replacing it for me. Okay. I'm getting rid of the stuff that's worn out, except for one piece that is starting to wear out. Can't imagine why. The thing's almost 60, well, probably is 60 years old. As a matter of fact, at this point, it would be, because my dining room table was made because I was en route. And I'll be 59 in a month. The table was finished about a month before I was born. Okay. So my dining room table is absolutely, it's 6 feet long, 3.5 feet wide. It's a one piece table topped with arborite. Okay. And because of that, I'm sitting here going, it's working beautifully. Right? And it's staying put. Other than that, everything else is going. Now, the neat part, if you haven't seen arborite before, the tabletop itself is an off-white with a whole pile of gold and silver starbursts on it. Okay, but the legs are black, and again we have this light and dark contrast. Now, to me, this works out beautifully. Okay, but this is just one of those things I'm working on. Okay, the other thing that happened when I turned around and got the microwave moved out of the way, it cleared up a whole shelf for me to expand my pantry properly. Okay, so again, I'm getting things organized where I'm quite content with what's going on. Where it's running smoothly and I can operate with it. And I strongly encourage you to do the same thing. Now, these are just the simple steps, but what's happening? Okay, and it worked out really well. By the way, when I just a quick little note, before I get sidetracked again. I will be going live in, what is it here? Yeah, this is why we keep these handy. In about, let's see, it's 20 to 2 now. I'll be going live in just over 6 hours. I'll be going live at 8 p.m. PST. Okay, tonight, and I'll be running until 10. Now, here's the thing. Yesterday, I started off, I was going to be talking about the connection between the different races, the ancient races, and humans. Well, what ended up happening, because I still operate on a chat room driven questions. So if you come into the chat room on YouTube, okay, if you've got a question, just post it in like, write it in all caps so I can find it. Now, the comical part of the whole thing was this. Okay, I had a very definitive, this is what I'm going to do my best focus on. What ended up happening was we got sidetracked. Questions that were coming in were based on finance. Okay, so that's where we went. Because that's where the people in the chat room desired to go. And we talked about the different techniques, the different tools that I have personally used to go from bankruptcy, actually 2 bankruptcies, life just above the poverty line, to reaching the basic goals that I was looking for, that I was targeting to start with. And in all fairness, I was expecting it to take me 6 to 8 months to get myself back to exactly where I desired. No debt on the credit card, a certain amount of balance in my bank account, in my active bank accounts. Okay. I was aiming for that. So I did. Okay. And I attained those well, quite frankly, because of an unexpected turn of events where income tax straightened itself out. I reached that. So yesterday we spent a lot of time about talking about that. But when I got finished and got started yesterday, after I did the live feed, that was when I got carried away in the house. And rest assured, it was called carried away. Because I got done the live feed at 10 o'clock. I was home by 1 and went straight through. So I've been active all day anyway. Okay. And when I got finished, I'd been on the go for 17 hours. Well, I don't think I've been on the go for 17 hours in probably 20 years. At least not up and active as much as I was. But I'll tell you, I feel so much better right now. The energy in this house is so much more relaxed and so much more free flowing that I'm feeling a heck of a sight better. And I will tell you, you get the clutter out of your house, out of your home, and you'll find exactly the same thing. Now, I hate to do this, okay, but we're hitting the half-hour mark, so I'm going to bring this to a close. I will be back on live in 6 hours, ready to answer questions from any topic you've got. It doesn't matter to me. Well, almost any topic. There's certain ones. If you ask a question that oversteps, I'll go, no, we're not going there. Now, with that in mind, okay, I'm going to bring this to a close. I will be back again tomorrow. Okay, but until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.